So even though the NHL is in their pause right now for that Four Nations face-off plus the All-Star break, the NBA is about to enter their pause too for a week for the All-Star weekend coming up. But even though we got the NBA All-Star game coming up, we still got 2 Piston games this week for a quick, brief mid-season midweek recap. As the Pistons had 2 games left before the All-Star break, both games against Chicago to close out the season series against the Bulls. And of course, we all remember the last time the Pistons beat the Bulls a couple weeks ago when it went to Zach LaVine. This time, though, the trade deadline already happened, so there will be no more trading for Chicago until June. Honestly, I think that might be for the best for Chicago, because if Detroit beat the shit out of Chicago again, and Chicago is forced to trade more people away, they might get it from Dashy a second time. But anyway, to the games itself. Well, the first game, not much else to say. The Pistons just completely bitch-slapped the Bulls in the first game. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, the Pistons led the Bulls in Game 1 by almost 42 points at halftime. And it really did not get any better for Chicago after that. Even Malik Beasley set the franchise record for most three-pointers scored in the season for the Pistons. Which, hey, good for Malik Beasley. So, hey, at least somebody's stepping up to try and make it not be just the Cade Cunningham show. Trying to prove me wrong, I see. Well, that's a good step in the right direction. Still a long way to go, though. All I'd say to say is if you want to prove me really wrong, win a playoff game or hell, even win a playoff series this year. And that would be another big step in the right direction. Hell, Cade didn't even play that strong against the Bulls in the first game. Only had like 20 points in that game. Not really that strong. But even despite that, the Pistons still go on and beat the Bulls by 40 points. Thank God for Chicago, you had a second game against the Pistons. Because if that was your only game, you would have definitely got the Scorpion Hellfire Wrath from Dashy for sure. No doubt. Because, yeah, a 40-point loss is unacceptable by any standards of the imagination, or any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, a very good win from the Pistons to beat the living shit out of the Bulls. And with the Pistons winning that first game, it means that Chicago will not win the season series over Detroit this year. Well, Chicago, better luck next year. But anyway, to Game 2, though. Game 2 was a lot closer. I mean, it was going to be a lot closer because the Bulls were going to have a lot to fight for to try and bounce back after whatever the fuck that was supposed to be in Game 1. But in Game 2, it was pretty close for about a quarter, and then the Pistons pulled away in the set near halftime. But then the second half was really when the Pistons pulled away, especially Cade Cunningham, as he had one of the greatest dunks I've seen this season, where he had the ball in one hand, and then midair, he switched hands for the dunk. So, fucking Air Jordan, it's Air Cade time now, bitch. And the Pistons go on and they beat the Bulls by double digits again, winning by 18. Like 128 to 110, and Cade Cunningham had 29 points leading the way. So even though Cade wasn't really that hot in the first game, Cunningham definitely was him in the second game for sure. And the Pistons, they go into Chicago and win both games this week against the Bulls. Both of them in pretty convincing fashion. Like, the Pistons combined to win by 58 points in both games against the Bulls. And with Detroit winning the second game, it means Detroit has won the season series over Chicago, taking 3 out of 4 games against the Bulls. Hell yeah. But just nothing else to see here, just Detroit beating the shit out of another Chicago team. I told yous back in December, I told yous the Pistons would have their chance to dunk on Chitoilet. And I was right once again. Never doubt C-Rad when it comes to Detroit versus Chicago, because when it comes to Detroit versus Chicago, this motherfucker don't miss. And that's no bull. But yeah, Detroit gets the win. They go into the All-Star break with a winning record, 29-26. And of course, with the win, well, Detroit was already 6th in the Eastern Conference coming into this this 2-game stretch against Chicago. But now they get more ground over Orlando in terms of that. Now 2.5 games to the good for 6. And also Chicago and Dashy don't look too far now, but Philadelphia and Brooklyn aren't too far behind you for that 10th spot. And all I say is in the standings for teams like Toronto, Charlotte, and Washington, Yeah, keep dreaming. You ain't making the play-in this year. Keep dreaming, damn it. But yeah, so far Detroit looks really promising to possibly move up further in the standings. I mean, they're only 2 games behind Indiana for 4th in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, Detroit is 6th in the West. Yeah, East. Yet, oddly enough, they're the 2nd worst team in the division. The worst team in the division right now in the Central is Chicago. The crazy part is, though, despite all this, is if the Bulls can get their shit together, we could see all 5 teams in this division all make the playoffs this year. I mean, we possibly had a chance maybe in the NFL to have all 4 teams in the NFC North make the playoffs until Chicago shit the bed. Can maybe the Bulls do this? Can maybe the Bulls avenge them? Or will the Bulls suffer the same fate as the Bears and completely shit the bed and the post-All-Star break? We'll have to tune in to find out. I don't really care, to be honest. I mean, I don't care what happens with the Bulls. The Pistons got bigger fish to fry right now. Right now, it's about now trying to go for 4th in the Eastern Conference and try and pass Milwaukee and Indiana. And that's going to be the harder part post-All-Star break. And of course, the Pistons' next game won't be till next Friday against San Antonio, because they got a 2-game road trip after the All-Star break against San Antonio and Atlanta, before they have a bit of a 3-game homestand after that. And that San Antonio game gonna be tough, because San Antonio's trying to fight to get back into the play-in tournament on the Western Conference. So yeah, Pistons looking good right now, but after that All-Star break, they better be on their game plan. Because after the All-Star break, that's when it becomes go time. When we get to that sprint to the finish for the season. To decide who will be in the playoffs, who will be competing in that stupid play-in tournament, and who will be sent to Elimination Station and be forced to compete in the rigged draft lottery. A lot will be answered in the post-All-Star break, but there's one goal for sure for every team. Don't get eliminated. Anyway, on to the All-Star break. See you all next weekend. I'm out. And go Pistons.